Okay, everybody. I don't know how much I'm going to get done today because they changed the weather forecast, so it's not really supposed to rain. I mean, there's like a 20% chance tonight. But basically over the next 4 days, it's going to be blistering hot. The humidity right now is 91%, and it's supposed to reach a heat index of 106 today. So, you know, an actual temperature of about 95 plus 91% humidity. And for the most of the morning, this will be in the shade, especially back there, but once about noon hits, this will all be in direct sunlight. So it's about 7:30 right now. I wanted to get a little earlier start, but Lowe's doesn't open until 7 a.m. and it takes me 20 minutes to drive out here. But I went and got some mortar. I got 4 bags. I only buy just a few bags at a time, especially when it's humid like this, so it doesn't draw moisture and harden up. But speaking of hardening up, all these suckers are hard as a rock. I didn't end up covering them up with a tarp, and so you can kind of tell that they did get a little bit rained on, but I mean, that's, you know, it's solid. So it didn't hurt it at all. Even this down here is just, you know, solid as a rock. So we should be good there. Anyway, this filling the cores turned out even better than what I thought. You know, I thought for sure it'd take at least like 2 bags to fill each core, but you know, 1 bag does a core, 4 courses tall. So back there on that back side, it'll end up being 9 courses tall altogether, and I'll have to add rebar, like to the section sticking up. I'll have to just wire me another piece of rebar on there and bring it up further. I'll have to do that on the sides too. So I'll have to go and get a few rods of rebar, and I meant to get a concrete or a masonry cutting disc for my angle grinder, but I forgot to. So if we do need to cut a block, we'll just have to do it with the concrete chisel like I did over here on this side. So also, I got me a new tripod, so you know, maybe we'll be a little more steady with the video and not slanted or anything. It's not an expensive one. It was only 18 bucks at Walmart, so. But it looks like a lot better one than the one I had. So, first order of business, I guess, we're going to have to, let's get the hard manual labor type stuff out of the way, and we'll go over there and shovel that trench out. Well, that's good. Makes it a little easier having that concrete pad down there to slide against. But still, it's not that easy, because these sides where the blocks used to be are pretty well settled in. With grass holding them together. Man, this is miserable. This is about the worst summer I can remember, man, it's usually in July, you know, we're out in the hay field, you know, doing hay and dry, and I mean, you're praying for a little bit of water, you know, but I don't remember it being this humid in July very often. I don't really remember it at all, but now the reason that pulled out, when I first poured the footer, the day after it was poured, that night, I guess somebody came and set my wood pile on fire and bent all the rebar over and all kinds of stuff, and I had to go around and bend it all back up, and I think down inside there the concrete wasn't cured or anything yet, so it might have wallowed it out a little bit, but there's not really much I can do about that. You know, somebody came and screwed me over, so I got to make the best of what happened. Okay, as you can hopefully tell, I've got this trench shoveled out and swept out up to a certain point, up to this next rebar right here. So that's enough room to go ahead and lay in as many blocks as one bag will do. I think if I remember right, it's either 10 or 12 blocks per bag. So I've got like 13 blocks sitting here, so I might have to shovel a little bit off the end over here once we get down to it, but I am sweating like a hog. My shirt is completely soaked at this point. I could take it off and wring it out and get liquid out of it. So I guess the next thing I need to do is I need to make me like a little bridge across here where I can drive across it with the lawnmower. So I imagine I'll have to lay a pallet or something across there. So I guess that's the next on the agenda. Alright, so there's my bridge. I was going to put it more like down here, but the ground is super level, like right in there. And so I moved it up a little bit because there's like a lump of dirt piled up right here. So maybe it'll make the transition onto the bridge a little less, you know, bump up. And hopefully the lawnmower can make it over that with the deck on. We'll see, I suppose. Okay, well, I'm only going to show me mixing one of these bags of mortar. And then the rest of them I'll just mix up off camera. So I'm sure you guys have seen, you know, concrete and mortar mixed before, so I'll just do it once. Alright, if I remember right, I mix about 1 3/4 gallons of water per bag. And from what I can tell, these bags of pre-mixed mortar don't mix the same as mortar that you would make yourself with sand and Portland. So, you know, the consistency that pros would get is a little bit runnier than what I can get out of this. There's a certain tip and balance with this bag stuff. You know, it's pretty thick. If you get it just a little bit on the runny side, it just collapses. It won't hold the weight of a block. So you have to keep it quite a bit thicker than what professionals would mix themselves, or at least that's been my experience. Somebody who's a little more familiar with it could let me know, but I just haven't had any good luck with making it a little thinner. In fact, I've had bad luck doing that. Do not exceed a total volume of 6 quarts. Okay. So yeah, 1.5 gallons is what is the maximum you're supposed to put in it. Well, if I had a watch or something on, I could tell how many gallons per minute I'm flowing here, but I don't. Alright, there's a gallon. And then I also will fill this jug back up and take some water down there with me. Because as I'm working it and stuff, sometimes, you know, to get a little bit on the dry side. Okay, so that's a gallon and a half, so we'll put in half of this. This stuff's quite a bit harder to mix than concrete because it's a real, you know, thin, sandy consistency. So it takes a while to get all the bubbles out and all the dry pockets uncovered. And I know I'm a hillbilly or whatever you want to call me, but I know how to follow instructions, and I'm not one of those that, oh, the manufacturer don't know what they're talking about, I'll add whatever I want to add to it. That's not, you know, those people probably have, you know, $100,000 worth of research into the directions that they come up with, so. Poop. I pretty much trust the manufacturer as to what they recommend for their own product. Now see, if you're like a professional, you know, you might be used to seeing a consistency like that. You know, but this stuff really needs to be more like that, you know. Because when it's like that, you know, the block just smushes it down. Doesn't really work like regular mortar that you would mix, you know, the sand and Portland and all that yourself. It doesn't really work like that. That pallet I laid across there, it's just wide enough to fit about 3/4 of each tire on on it, so I'm hoping not to drop this trailer down into the trench, but I guess we'll see. And because of that, I'll go ahead and put the side panels back on in case that does happen. I don't want to lose this whole tub of mortar. Man, it's getting sticky out here. I don't know how much of this will get done today, but the weather forecast, the weatherman was warning about the heat index, you know. Out towards the Missouri-Kansas state line, they're going to have heat indexes of 110. So I guess we lucked out with 106 today here, but if you want to call that lucky. It's doggone humidity that'll get you, though. 91% humidity, it's sticky. Now I'm just going to set this jug down in this so maybe it won't tip over. Oh, it's got a little pinhole in it, I guess. Alright, well, even though I had that water bucket stuck down in there, it still tipped over and dumped about half a gallon of water in there, so I dumped most all of it out that I could get out, but I'm sure I'll still have to add some more dry mortar to it, so that's kind of a pain, but I guess not the end of the world. Okay, so I've got, like I said, this trench cleaned out pretty well. And then, I don't know if you'll be able to see it or not, but I've got that string line. I've got all the grass pulled away from that string line, and it's resting right on the edge of the blocks down there and on the edge of the blocks down here. So we should be good to go, I guess. I just went up to the van to see what the temperature was, and it's 9:20 in the morning and it's already 88 degrees. So it's going to be a hot one. I don't know how much of this I'll get done because of that, but I'll try to get a bit. This I'm just using as like a kind of a mortar board type of deal. I put my mortar on there where it's easier to kind of get to. That extra water in here did make it a little soupy, but I think since I poured the most of it off, I think it's all right. It feels okay. Well, maybe you guys will be able to see there, maybe you won't. If you can't, I'm sorry. The sun is directly coming in from that way to this way, and kind of makes a shadow down in there, but I've already been out here like, man, I stepped on the string line again. Come on now. There just ain't a whole lot of room down in here. I wear size 12 boots and just don't work out too good. Alright, let's see what we can do here. See if I remember how to do this. It's getting hot in here. Alright, well, I got the 10 blocks laid in that one bag would do, and it's like It's like 11 o'clock and it's 91 degrees. 91% humidity, so the heat index is probably almost about 100. And so I'm going home. This has got me just burning up and wore out. What I'll probably do is come back in the morning about 5:30. Since I already have the bags of mortar, I don't have to wait till the store opens. So for now, that's what we've got. We're almost to the corner down there. Alrighty, well, y'all will just have to forgive me a little bit if I take this hose to myself. It's so hot out here. I almost didn't wash this stuff off. I was almost just so beat that... Man, that heat takes the energy, that humidity takes it right out of you. If there wasn't snapping turtles and crap up there, I'd just go jump in the pond, but there is, so I'm not. I'll have to put those bags of mortar back in the van just in case it does rain. And then I'll probably just park the lawnmower and everything over there behind the weeds so nobody can see it from the road. And that's basically it. Well, I have to lock my electric box back up. I had my air compressor hooked in. And I don't even have the energy hardly to wash this stuff out. I think that's going to be a better idea, is coming out here about 5:30 in the morning. That way I'll have enough time to lay in maybe 2 bags worth of blocks. About 20 blocks before it gets real hot. Whew! But for the rest of the week, pretty much, we're supposed to have heat indexes over 104, so it's no laughing matter. There we are. This thing still had some on it from last year, so I won't worry about it too much. Woo! Oh, that water's cold. Woo! Man. Whew. I wish I brought my shorts. I'd go down to the river and jump in. Whew! Man. Now this might be the first video you guys see or have seen of me without my steel hat on. I've made it kind of a running joke to see if anybody would notice that no matter what situation, even if I'm in my pajamas, that I always have that hat on in videos, so. Oh boy. Back on she goes. Woo! Alrighty, well, I guess that's it for today. I'm hot, tired, cranky, and I'm going home. We'll be back first thing in the morning, though.